Hello YouTube, Ken here with another Black Desert Online video for you, and today we're going to be talking about Agris Fever, which is a buff of sorts that was introduced somewhat recently to a video, and it's a buff that helps you get more trash loot from mobs while you grind. In this video we're going to take a look at what it is, what it does for you, how to get it, and give my thoughts and opinions on it. So let's start with what it is. And once you do all they have to do, your Agris Fever is going to be showing up here as an icon next to where all your other family or account-wide buffs are. And this is exactly what the Agris Fever is an account-wide buff. But unlike all these, most of the other ones here, Agris Fever does not cost you any money, which is great for BDO since most things in BDO do cost you money. So if you look here on the Agris Fever, I know you cannot read Korean probably, but it tells you here that every day at 6 o'clock, that's in the morning, you refresh 4,000 points and to a maximum of 20,000 points, so you can go accumulate these 4,000 points over a 5-day period if you don't have time to grind or something like that. And when you go and do grind, as you kill monsters, you will use these Agris Fever points, this currency of sorts, to get 150% extra item quantity. So it's not a drop chance increase, it's a drop quantity increase. And it does continue to explain there that different monsters will consume different amounts of Agris Fever points. You have a boost to your silver per hour, especially in places that drop higher amounts or more expensive trash loot. So you think of places like Ackman and Monshams and things like that. To counterbalance that, of course, a lot of the higher end areas that do give more expensive trash loot, the mobs there do cost more Agris Fever points. So it's kind of a interesting trade-off. This is pretty much what it is. It's a 150% item amount buff to your trash loot from mobs, and different mobs cost different amounts of points, and you accumulate them automatically at 6 o'clock in the morning server time. And the way you actually get the Agris Fever is by completing one of those adventure log books here, which is going to be this one here with also only 2 books, so it's not too hard, and it is called Magraham. Korean is Magahan. I think in English might be Magraham or something like that. And to actually get this started, you have to talk to your Black Spirit, your friendly Black Spirit, and you will start a quest which will allow you to then get the first book started. And they are really simple. The first book, when you start it, is going to bring you to over here, and the ancient cave here, which is pretty much where you start the game, over here. And you have to go in and talk to the man called Aiden, I believe, in there. And I'll post, if I'm editing this right, there should be a video of me walking to Aiden. I'm not going to waste your time here. And then once you get to Aiden, you have to bring some mats here to the Agris altar over here, and then you have to go find a spot in the coastal caves here, hidden coastal caves, and you have to go all the way to Crown Castle here, and then you have to go back to Alistine, which is this guy over here, and Velia, and then you're gonna get something from Alistine, and you're gonna go back to Eden over here, and then finish the quest. And the mats they need to bring to Agris Temple, it will say right here, or the Agris altar, you say right here, so it's not that hard. You say 10 foot of enchantment, 30 bear meat, and 100 wheat. All these things can easily be purchased from your marketplace, and they are not that expensive. If you want to go farm them, you're welcome to do so. But I would just recommend that you buy them for the market. It would take you way more time to go and gather those items yourself than you would for you to make the money that it would take you to buy the items that you need. All right, so you gather the items. Make sure you have the items on you first, and then you go here and talk to the altar of Agris, and you turn it in, and then you go to the cave, and then you go to Crown Castle, and then you go to Alistine. But that's it for the first book. And then you're going to take a second quest from the Black Spirit so you can get a second book. And the second book is pretty straightforward. There's no tips and tricks there. It's all really just going to, I believe, 5 different places and grinding mobs there. By the way, I have to do all this in order, okay? Which is actually all right, because the grinding or the killing of mobs here, they kind of go up. Each step is a step up in difficulty. So if you're struggling, you can choose to stop and then pick it back up as you progress your gear. If you're a new player, multiplayer. But as you unlock after you unlock the first book, you already will be able to start using this. You're just not going to have 4,000 points and 20,000 max over there. As you can see here, that increases the first chapter of the book will give you 5,000 points max over here. So every chapter that you do will add you either more points per day or a max amount that you can store. The first place that you're going to want to grind is Sawsons, and you go to Sawsons and you got to kill 2,500 mobs in there. And then you're going to get your 5,000 points max here. And then after Sawsons, you're going to go to Crescent. And you also got to go and kill 2,500 mobs over there. So 2,500 mobs over there at Crescents. After Crescents, your next step is to go to Sherikor Necropolis. And over there, you actually have to kill 3,000 of those guys. And they are really annoying if you're playing a class that does not have a good super armor rotation. Be ready to dodge a lot or to be CC'd a lot. But if you have any way to boost your resistance to CC, I recommend you use that. If you don't have a good super armor rotation. But they're quite annoying to farm, and you gotta kill 3,000 of them. The AP requirement's a bit high too. Let's check out here. It's 210. So for new players, this might be a little tough. Although now everybody's getting it. If you're starting the game right now, and when this video is coming out, which is May 2020, you have a chance to get the Tribe Boss armor for free. So this should be quite doable for you. Might take a little bit of time, but shouldn't be a problem. Then you gotta go to Monshams, and in Monshams you also gotta kill 3,000 mobs in Monshams. And Monshams, if you don't know, which you probably do, is here in Kamasilvia, and the AP, as you can see here, is 240. So again, if you're a new player, you might struggle a little bit, and they do CC you a little bit, not as much as in Sherikor Necropolis, but they do. And if you're a new player with low armor and they CC you, they can easily kill you if you're not ready. If you're a new player, you might want some help here for Monshams and maybe for Sherikor Necropolis as well. But if you're a new player, you would definitely need some help for the next area, which is Star's End. And Star's End is one of the high-end areas in the game right now, and it's right over here. And you can see here, it's a 260 AP zone. All right, if you're a new player, you definitely will not be able to do this, even with the Tribe Boss here, because they hit quite hard and they're quite tanky as well. So it's going to take you quite a long time. You can see my gear here. I only have 253 AP and 308 DP, and they can sometimes, some of the mobs are hit quite hard. So what I did actually was I used the Calx elixir just to guarantee that I didn't die. It would be doable for me without it, but it just made my life a lot easier. I didn't have to focus as hard. But if you have lower than 300 DP, you definitely should use a Calx elixir and maybe some food that will decrease your damage taking, like this one here, which is I'll put it down below what the name of this is in English. I don't know. Some kind of cron meal. If you just search on the marketplace for cron meal, you can see here that it has a 6% of damage reduction. So that combined with the Calx, which gives you 15 damage reduction, which I don't know what percentage that it equates to, but it's going to give you an equivalent, in my case here, of 323 DP. If your gear is not good enough to clear the 3,000 mobs in Star's End, you can always do this in a party as well. If you can get a group of 3 or 4 of your guildies and you just go and slaughter people in a group over there, that will make it a lot easier. Even if you do have the gear, get a group of people with similar gear and you can knock that out in no time at all. For me, it took me about 3.5 hours, I think, with my gear. Going there, maybe 4 hours. The first hour was very slow because I didn't have rotation or anything like that, so it took me quite a bit to get those 3,000 mobs. The other areas can take about an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on your gear. The only hard part of this whole book is going to be, for this whole series of 2 books, is going to be Star's End, maybe Monsham if your gear is not that great, but it should be doable. But Star's End can really be the obstacle. But the good news is, like I said, you don't need to finish it to start using the Agris Fever. All you need to do is to get started, get to book 2, and you can already start using. And you get, if you get up to Monsham and you finish Monshams and you want to take a break, which is what I did actually. I finished Monshams and I took a few days break and I came back to Star's End. The main difference that you're gonna get, instead of 4,000 points a day, you're gonna get 3.5 thousand. All right, so now that I finally got my books completed today, what I want to do for the next week or so here is to go out and test out grinding locations that have different point costs, right? Because, like, as I mentioned, different mobs cost different amounts of Agris Fever points, and I want to see if using these points in locations that have lower trash loot drops, that if using this buff makes them a little more viable, right? Because if you're going to be getting 150% more loot from a place like Pila Kujeo for longer than you would in a place like Akhman, maybe that might make those locations a little more viable. Probably not as good as Akhman, but hopefully at least closer in amount, right? Because you'll be able to kill a lot more mobs, and each mob is going to give you more trash. So So hopefully this Agris buff will help equalize the field, making more grinding spots more viable, which I think is what we need. Like, so that everybody's not just grinding in the same 3 or 4 areas until their eyes bleed and they quit the game because they're so bored out of their mind. Now, another thing that's worth pointing out too is that something that I didn't think about at first, but I read it a little bit ago here. It's obvious, but at the same time we might not think about it, is that the Agris Fever buff is used when you kill the mob, which means that if you're grinding on places where you're one-shotting mobs and moving from pack to pack really fast and leaving some loot behind, you're wasting those points because you're not looting some of those mobs that you're spending your Agris Fever points on. So keep that in mind. You gotta figure out if it's worth it. Ideally, you probably want to find a sweet spot where you're killing the mobs just fast enough that you're not leaving too much loot behind. But yeah, so that's I think all I wanted to say about the Agris Fever. I told you how to get it. I told you what I want to do with it, and I told you what it does for you. Let me know if there are any areas in particular that you want me to test this Agris Fever on, some areas that you think are just short of being good enough to grind reliably, and you think that this buff might help. Or if you did some testing yourself, feel free to post those in your test results in the comments down below. And if you liked the video and thought it was informative, I would appreciate if you could hit the like button. If you want to see more video content from me, hit that subscribe button. And also come join our Twitch stream and our Discord community. Links for all this stuff down below. And that's going to be it from me for now. And I'll see you guys on the Wednesday video with the patch notes video. All right, take care. Like around here somewhere? This northwest? This way? Oh, is it over there? Ah! That was easy. Can you stop? Thank you. This is the part. I've been here before, I think. Am I looking for something? Left wall. Oh, this thing? It's nice. Okay. Bum, bum, bum. Goodbye. The backstabbing Valkyrie. I'm getting farther and farther away. Pretty soon I'm gonna be in. Can see if it goes all the way there. Okay. Maybe. Oh, right there. Oh, I see. I thought it was over there. Oh, okay. Oh, look at this bird's eye view. Clap, clap. I can make our hand. Fan freaking tastic. Should I go to my horse first? Go back to Eden. Bingo, bingo. All right. Boom. Don't worry about P2 win. Yeah, I don't really PvP in guild stuff, which today I meant to, but it just happened. We finished before I even got to the place. The node war. We won. Within like less than 5 minutes. I feel like most of the time that's what happens to my guild wars. We either win within 5 minutes, or we get obliterated. Actually, I don't think we usually lose within less than 5 minutes. Usually we can hold on for at least 10-15 minutes. There's only been 1 or 2 fights that I participated in my guild that actually lasted a while. Yeah, if you compete, it's pay to win. But in the good range where pay to doesn't matter, I'm still one-shotting people. Honestly, on that quest, you're gonna be one-shot by pay to win people, even probably if you do pay to win and get OP, because for the most part, AP is much more important than DP in this game, from what I've seen. I mean, I'm playing all 10 armor, and I still get one combo. I can still die within less than 5 seconds. So I don't know if it really matters. I should probably not brought this heavy shit with me. You're gonna be running out of weight. I need to buy some. As soon as I get, I need to buy some weight to my Valkyrie as soon as they go on sale again. Because as you can see, I'm struggling. Nobody knows. I forgot to bring my. Well, these last 20 minutes. Because I think I'm gonna use these at Star's End, so to guarantee that I don't die if I need it. But I need to get one more from my storage in Velia. I meant to grab them, but I always forget things. But I think I sent him. I got 34 defense lasers. But I will swing by Velia. Well, I'm not going to finish everything tonight anyway, so I'll my plan is to do Crescent, Shuriken, and Munchung tonight on stream. And then after that, if I have time, we can go and do other things, but that's the goal for tonight. The point, who cares exactly, yeah. Well, that's the video. I think a lot of people like to complain about being pay to win, but in reality, most of the population is not going to, even if there was no pay to win, they wouldn't put the time that you would take to compete anyways. Need to feed more Kaffers? Yeah, I'm really, I got like level 1, I think, Kaffers on my thingy. My thingamajigs. Okay, so we got this node, so I think that'll be a good time for me to run here. Gosh darn it. I was hoping it would be the what's it called? Hazra? So I could go and don't pay attention also where I'm going. I might have passed. Did it pass already? I'm not. I might just. Pretty soon I'm gonna be in Fogan's and don't pay attention. Why do you have? I mean, what's a DP stash? You can when you play. Well, no, not you play, but you don't have all that stuff, right? Stash. But yeah, I think actually my boots don't have any Calphus level because I accidentally leveled them up or enhanced them, but I didn't need to. If you're here for this stream, you're gonna see the pain in my face. Actually, I upload the highlights to YouTube. But this actually has Calphus level 1. All the other stuff does. 300 DP. Ooh, I'll play for you.